In the chaos of modern life, silence might be your most powerful tool. Picture this. You're in a heated argument, emotions running high, words threatening to spill out like molten lava. Your heart races, palms sweat, and the urge to respond burns in your throat. Yet, in that crucible of conflict, the ancient Stoic philosophers knew a profound truth. Sometimes your silence speaks volumes. Throughout history, great minds like Marcus Aurelius understood that mastering the art of silence wasn't just about keeping quiet. It was about wielding your words with purpose and precision. Many of us feel compelled to fill every moment of silence, desperately trying to prove our point or defend our position. But true power often lies in the spaces between words. The philosophy of Stoicism teaches us that reacting to every situation diminishes our control over our own lives. By learning when to stay silent, you're not just avoiding conflict, you're embodying the essence of Stoic wisdom. What you're about to discover will transform how you navigate challenging situations. These will revolutionize your approach to communication, helping you embody the Stoic virtues of wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control. Now, a quick moment before we dive in. I know you're eager to get to the content, and I'll keep this brief. This video is packed with actionable wisdom, so I strongly encourage you to watch until the end. If you find value in these Stoic principles, hitting that subscribe button and leaving a like truly helps spread this ancient wisdom to others. Your support enables us to continue sharing these life-changing philosophies. Now, let's unlock the power of silence. In the realm of Stoic philosophy, silence is not merely the absence of speech, it's a powerful tool for personal growth and wisdom. The ancient Stoics understood that our words, once spoken, have the power to shape our reality and influence those around us. They advocated for thoughtful, measured speech, emphasizing the importance of choosing our words carefully. But the true strength of silence lies in its ability to create space for reflection, for understanding, and for mastering our own impulses. When we choose to remain silent, we're not just holding back words, we're exercising control over our minds and emotions. This self-discipline is at the core of Stoic practice. By embracing silence in key moments, we open ourselves up to deeper insights, better decision-making, and more meaningful connections with others. It's a paradox that by saying less, we often communicate more effectively. As we explore the 7 situations where silence is golden, remember, your restraint is not weakness, but a demonstration of true inner strength. Situation 1. When emotions run high. We've all been there. Heart racing, blood boiling, words threatening to explode from our mouths like verbal shrapnel. In these moments of intense emotion, especially anger, our first instinct is often to lash out. But here's the hard truth. Words spoken in anger are like arrows shot from a bow. Once released, they can't be taken back, and the damage they cause can be irreparable. The danger of speaking when emotions run high is twofold. First, we're likely to say things we don't truly mean, things that come from a place of hurt rather than reason. These words can wound relationships, sometimes beyond repair. Second, emotional outbursts often escalate conflicts rather than resolve them, turning minor disagreements into full-blown wars of words. So, how do we tame this emotional storm? The key lies in mastering the art of the pause. When you feel that surge of emotion, take a deep breath. Imagine you're stepping back from your own thoughts, observing them like clouds passing in the sky. This mental distance can be your lifeline in heated moments. Try this technique. Count to 10 slowly in your mind before responding. It sounds simple, even childish, but it's surprisingly effective. This brief pause allows your rational mind to catch up with your emotional response. Often, you'll find that what seemed urgent to say moments ago now feels less critical. Another powerful tool is the body scan. Start from your toes and work your way up, mentally checking in with each part of your body. Notice areas of tension and consciously relax them. This not only calms your physical state, but also redirects your focus away from the triggering situation. Remember, choosing silence in these moments isn't about suppressing your feelings. It's about creating a space to process them more effectively. Use this time to ask yourself, will my words improve the situation? Are they true, necessary, and kind? If the answer to any of these is no, that's your cue to remain silent. The benefits of waiting to respond are profound. You'll avoid saying things you'll later regret, preserving relationships and your own integrity. You'll gain a reputation for being level-headed and trustworthy, even in high-stress situations. Most importantly, you'll be training your mind to respond rather than react, a key distinction in Stoic practice. By mastering this skill, you're not just avoiding conflict, you're actively shaping your character. Each time you choose silence over an emotional outburst, you're strengthening your self-control and emotional intelligence. It's not easy, and you won't always get it right. But with practice, you'll find yourself becoming more resilient, more respected, and more at peace with yourself and others. So the next time you feel that emotional storm brewing, remember, your silence in that moment is not weakness. It's a superpower, a shield that protects you and others from the potential harm of hasty words. Embrace it, practice it, and watch as it transforms your interactions and inner world. Situation 2. In the face of ignorance. We've all encountered it. Someone confidently spouting misinformation or showcasing their lack of knowledge on a subject. Your inner voice screams to correct them, to set the record straight. But hold that thought. In the face of ignorance, silence can be your most powerful response. When others speak from a place of limited understanding, our first instinct is often to jump in with corrections. We think we're helping, educating, or preventing the spread of misinformation. However, this approach can backfire spectacularly. People rarely respond well to being publicly corrected. It can lead to defensiveness, embarrassment, and even hostility. Hardly the fertile ground for learning or changing minds. So, what's the alternative? The art of letting go. This doesn't mean you're condoning ignorance or allowing falsehoods to spread unchecked. Instead, you're choosing your battles wisely and recognizing that not every misconception needs to be addressed immediately or by you. Consider this. By remaining silent, you're creating space for the other person to potentially recognize their own error. Sometimes, given a moment to reflect or hear themselves speak, people will self-correct, or at least begin to question their own assertions. Your silence can act as a catalyst for this self-reflection. Moreover, silence in these situations can be more impactful than any words you might say. It communicates volumes without a single syllable. Your calm, unruffled demeanor in the face of misinformation can speak louder than any fact-checking retort. It shows confidence in your own knowledge and a level of emotional maturity that others will notice and respect. This doesn't mean you should never correct misinformation. There are times when speaking up is crucial, especially if the ignorance could lead to harm. The key is to choose these moments carefully and approach them with tact. When you do decide to offer correction, do so privately if possible, and frame it as sharing information rather than pointing out someone's mistake. Practicing silence in the face of ignorance also offers personal benefits. It's an exercise in humility and empathy. Remember, there are likely areas where you too hold misconceptions. By showing grace to others, you're cultivating an environment where it's safe to be wrong sometimes, a crucial element for learning and growth. Additionally, this practice helps you develop discernment. You'll become better at distinguishing between situations that truly require intervention and those where silence is the wiser path. This skill is invaluable in navigating social and professional environments. So, the next time you encounter ignorance, take a breath before jumping to correct. Ask yourself, is this the right time and place? Will my correction be well received or cause more harm than good? Is this ignorance truly harmful or just annoying to me personally? Often, you'll find that the wisest response is simply to listen, nod, and let it go. By mastering the art of not correcting, you're not just avoiding potential conflict, you're cultivating wisdom, patience, and emotional intelligence. You're becoming the kind of person who knows when to speak and when silence speaks volumes. And in doing so, you might just find that people are more open to hearing your perspective when you do choose to share it. Situation 3. During conflicts. Conflict is an inevitable part of human interaction, but how we handle it can make all the difference. When tempers flare and voices rise, there's a powerful tool at your disposal that's often overlooked: silence. In the heat of an argument, choosing not to speak can be your secret weapon for diffusing tensions and paving the way for real understanding. The escalation trap in arguments is all too familiar. One person says something provocative, the other responds defensively, and before you know it, you're both caught in a spiral of increasingly heated exchanges. Each word becomes fuel for the fire, and the original issue gets lost in a cloud of emotion and ego. This is where the power of silence comes into play. By consciously choosing not to respond immediately, you're breaking the cycle of escalation. It's like removing oxygen from a fire. Without fuel, the flames of conflict begin to die down. This pause creates space for both parties to step back, take a breath, and reassess the situation. It's in this space that cooler heads can prevail. But silence alone isn't enough. The key is to pair it with active listening. When you're not focused on formulating your next retort, you can truly hear what the other person is saying. Pay attention not just to their words, but to their tone, body language, and the emotions behind their statements. Often, the root of a conflict lies not in the surface-level disagreement, but in deeper, unspoken feelings or needs. As you listen, resist the urge to mentally argue or prepare your defense. Instead, try to understand their perspective. What are they really trying to communicate? What needs or fears might be driving their position? This empathetic approach can transform your understanding of the conflict and open up new avenues for resolution. When you do speak, do so with intention. Use phrases that show you've been listening and that validate the other person's feelings, even if you disagree with their position. "I hear that you're frustrated," or "I can see why this is important to you," can go a long way in de-escalating tension and building rapport. Remember, the goal in conflict resolution isn't to win an argument, but to find a solution that addresses the needs of all parties involved. Your silence can create the space for collaborative problem-solving rather than competitive debate. It shifts the dynamic from adversarial to cooperative. This approach requires practice and patience. In the heat of the moment, it can feel counterintuitive to remain silent when every instinct is screaming at you to defend yourself or attack. But with time, you'll find that this method not only resolves conflicts more effectively, but also strengthens your relationships and builds your reputation as a level-headed, thoughtful individual. Moreover, by mastering the art of silence in conflicts, you're embodying a core Stoic principle: control over your own reactions. You're choosing reason over impulse, wisdom over pride. This self-mastery is at the heart of Stoic philosophy and is a powerful tool for navigating life's challenges. So the next time you find yourself in the midst of a heated argument, remember the power of the pause. Your silence, coupled with active listening, can be the key to diffusing the situation and finding a path forward. It's not about backing down or giving in. It's about rising above the immediate emotional response to find a more constructive way forward. Situation 4. When receiving criticism. Criticism. The very word can make our defenses rise and our ego bristle. When faced with criticism, our instinct is often to immediately defend ourselves, to explain away the critique or counterattack. But what if I told you that silence could be your most powerful ally in these moments? That by resisting the urge to respond immediately, you could transform criticism from a threat into a powerful tool for personal growth. The instant defense mechanism is a trap many of us fall into. We hear criticism and our brain goes into fight mode, scrambling to protect our self-image. We interrupt, we argue, we justify. But in doing so, we often miss the valuable insights hidden within the critique. Our immediate responses are rarely our best ones. They're driven by emotion rather than reason, by ego rather than a desire for improvement. This is where the power of silence comes into play. By choosing not to respond immediately, you create a buffer between the criticism and your reaction to it. This pause allows you to process the feedback without the interference of your defensive instincts. It's in this space that true learning and growth can occur. So, how do you practice this? The next time you receive criticism, take a deep breath. Feel the urge to respond rising within you, acknowledge it, and then let it pass. Instead of speaking, focus on listening intently. Try to hear not just the words, but the intent behind them. Is there truth in what's being said, even if it's uncomfortable to admit? What can you learn from this perspective, even if you don't fully agree with it? As you listen, pay attention to your physical reactions. Are your fists clenching? Is your jaw tight? These physical cues can help you recognize when your emotions are taking over. Use these as signals to remind yourself to stay calm and open. After the person has finished speaking, resist the urge to immediately defend or explain. Instead, thank them for their feedback. This simple act can be surprisingly powerful. It shows maturity, openness to growth, and often disarms the critic who may have been expecting a defensive response. Then, take time to process. Tell the person you'd like to think about what they've said and get back to them. This gives you the space to reflect on the criticism without the pressure of an immediate response. During this time, Examine the feedback objectively. What parts ring true? What parts do you disagree with, and why? How can you use this information to improve? By embracing silence in these moments, you're not just avoiding a potentially heated exchange. You're actively cultivating growth. You're training yourself to see criticism not as an attack, but as valuable data for self-improvement. This shift in perspective can be transformative, turning every critique into an opportunity for learning and development. Moreover, your calm, measured response to criticism will not go unnoticed. Over time, you'll build a reputation as someone who's open to feedback, confident enough to accept criticism gracefully, and committed to continuous improvement. These are qualities that are highly valued in both personal and professional settings. Remember, the goal isn't to become immune to the sting of criticism. It's to learn to use that sting as a catalyst for growth rather than a trigger for defensiveness. By mastering the art of silence in the face of critique, you're not just improving how you handle feedback, you're fundamentally changing how you approach personal development and interpersonal relationships. Situation 5. Rising above the rumor mill. Gossip. It's the social glue that often binds groups together, the whispered words that can make us feel included, in the know, part of the inner circle. But make no mistake, gossip is a siren's call, tempting us onto the rocks of damaged relationships and compromised integrity. In the face of juicy rumors or salacious stories about others, silence isn't just golden. It's your shield and your strength. The temptation to participate in gossip is deeply rooted in our social nature. It can make us feel connected, important, even powerful. But this fleeting sense of belonging comes at a high cost. Engaging in gossip erodes trust, fosters a negative environment, and often comes back to bite us. After all, if you're willing to talk about others behind their backs, why would anyone trust you with their own confidences? So how do we navigate these tricky social waters? The key lies in mastering the art of disengagement. When gossip starts flowing, your first line of defense is to simply not contribute. No nods of agreement, no leading questions, no sharing of your own tidbits of information. Your silence sends a powerful message. You're not playing this game. But sometimes, silence alone isn't enough. If the gossip continues, you might need to take more active steps to disengage. Try changing the subject to something positive about the person being discussed. Or, if appropriate, gently challenge the gossip by asking, "How do you know that's true?" Or, "I'm not comfortable discussing this without them present." These responses can often stop gossip in its tracks without creating social awkwardness. Remember, your goal isn't to shame others or position yourself as morally superior. It's simply to remove yourself from a harmful conversation and, if possible, steer it in a more positive direction. Your calm, non-judgmental disengagement can be a powerful influence on the group dynamic. By consistently choosing silence over participation in gossip, you're not just avoiding potential drama, you're actively building a reputation of integrity. People will come to see you as trustworthy, discreet, and respectful. They'll know that their words are safe with you, and that you won't engage in harmful talk behind their backs. This reputation is invaluable, both personally and professionally. In a world where information spreads at lightning speed, being known as someone who doesn't engage in or spread gossip is a powerful asset. It can open doors, strengthen relationships, and create a sense of safety and trust in your interactions with others. Moreover, by rising above the rumor mill, you're creating space for more meaningful, positive interactions. Instead of bonding over shared negativity, you can foster connections based on mutual respect, shared interests, and genuine care for others. This not only improves your relationships, but also contributes to a more positive overall environment. Practicing silence in the face of gossip also offers personal benefits. It frees you from the mental and emotional drain of keeping track of who said what about whom. It allows you to focus your energy on more constructive thoughts and activities, and it gives you peace of mind, knowing that you're not contributing to potential harm or hurt feelings. So the next time you find yourself in the midst of a gossip session, remember, your silence is your superpower. It's a choice to rise above, to be the person who lifts others up rather than tears them down. It's not always easy, and you might sometimes feel like you're missing out. But in the long run, the respect you gain, both from others and for yourself, is worth far more than any momentary sense of inclusion gossip might provide. Situation 6. When you don't have all the facts. In a world that often rewards quick answers and decisive opinions, admitting uncertainty can feel like weakness. We're pressured to have a stance on everything, to always be in the know. But here's a truth that might set you free. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all, especially when you don't have all the facts. Speaking without full information is a dangerous game. It's how misinformation spreads, how reputations get damaged, and how poor decisions are made. The temptation to fill in the gaps with assumptions or half-truths is strong, but it's a trap that can lead to embarrassment at best and serious consequences at worst. So how do we navigate this? The key lies in embracing uncertainty and being comfortable with saying, "I don't know." This simple phrase, or sometimes just silence, can be your shield against the pitfalls of hasty speech. It's not a sign of ignorance, but of wisdom, the wisdom to recognize the limits of your knowledge. When faced with a situation where you lack complete information, take a pause. Feel the urge to speak, to offer an opinion or solution, and then let it pass. Instead of filling the silence with potentially inaccurate information, use it as an opportunity for inquiry. Ask questions, seek clarification, show interest in learning more rather than pretending to already know. This approach not only prevents the spread of misinformation, but also opens the door to genuine learning and more informed discussions. By admitting what you don't know, you create space for those who do have the facts to share their knowledge. You might be surprised at how much you can learn simply by being willing to listen rather than speak. Moreover, embracing uncertainty builds trust. When people know that you're willing to admit gaps in your knowledge, they're more likely to trust the information you do share. Your words carry more weight because others know you speak only when you're confident in your facts. This practice of silence in the face of uncertainty is particularly crucial in leadership roles. A leader who can say, "I don't know but I'll find out," is far more respected than one who bluffs their way through every situation. It shows humility, a commitment to accuracy, and respect for the complexity of issues. Remember, admitting uncertainty doesn't mean remaining permanently silent. It means taking the time to gather accurate information before speaking. If the situation requires a response, be clear about what you know and what you don't. Offer to follow up once you have more facts. This approach demonstrates responsibility and reliability. By mastering the art of silence when you lack full information, you're not just avoiding potential mistakes, you're actively cultivating a reputation for thoughtfulness and integrity. You're becoming someone who values truth over appearing knowledgeable, substance over showmanship. So the next time you're tempted to speak on a topic you're not fully informed about, pause. Embrace the power of "I don't know." Use your silence as an opportunity to learn, to gather facts, to deepen your understanding. In doing so, you'll find that your words, when you do choose to speak, carry far more weight and wisdom. Situation 7. In moments of victory. Victory, the sweet taste of success, the rush of achievement. In these moments, the urge to shout your triumph from the rooftops can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that in the glow of your greatest wins, silence could be your most powerful move? Welcome to the art of the silent victory, a Stoic practice that can elevate your success and character to new heights. The pitfalls of boasting or gloating are many, and they're often not immediately apparent. In the moment, it feels good to brag about our accomplishments, to let everyone know just how awesome we are. But this short-term ego boost comes with long-term costs. It can alienate others, breed resentment, and even set you up for harder falls in the future. Consider this. When you loudly celebrate your own success, you're often diminishing others in the process. Your victory might be someone else's defeat. Your promotion might be a colleague's disappointment. By shouting about your win, you might be rubbing salt in invisible wounds. This doesn't mean you can't feel joy in your achievements. It means being mindful of how you express that joy. So how do we navigate the tricky waters of success? The key lies in cultivating humility and quiet confidence. When you achieve something great, take a moment to savor it internally. Feel the pride, the satisfaction, the sense of accomplishment. But resist the urge to broadcast it widely. Let your actions and results speak for themselves. This silence in success builds respect in profound ways. People notice when someone achieves great things without needing to trumpet their own praise. It shows a level of self-assurance and maturity that is rare and deeply admired. You become known not just for your achievements, but for your character, someone who can handle success with grace and humility. Moreover, this approach keeps you hungry and focused. When you tie your ego to external validation and praise, you become dependent on it. But when you can find satisfaction in the work itself, in the knowledge of a job well done, you develop a more sustainable, intrinsic motivation. You're not working for the applause. You're working for the personal growth and the impact you can make. The Stoic perspective on handling achievements is particularly relevant here. The Stoics taught that true virtue lies not in external success, but in our internal response to both success and failure. They encouraged us to view our achievements with a level head, neither overly elated by victories nor crushed by defeats. This balanced approach allows us to maintain our composure and continue striving for excellence regardless of outcomes. Practicing silence in victory also protects you from the dangers of hubris. History is full of tales of those who flew too close to the sun, whose boasts and pride led to spectacular falls. By remaining grounded and humble in your successes, you're better prepared to handle future challenges and setbacks. This doesn't mean you should never celebrate or share your achievements. There are times when it's appropriate and even necessary to do so. The key is in how you do it. When you do speak of your successes, Do so with gratitude and acknowledgement of those who helped you along the way. Share credit generously. Focus on the journey and the lessons learned rather than just the outcome. Remember, true confidence doesn't need to announce itself. It's evident in your actions, your demeanor, and the quiet assurance with which you carry yourself. By mastering the art of the silent victory, you're not just handling success well, you're setting yourself up for even greater achievements in the future. So the next time you hit a major milestone or achieve a significant goal, take a breath. Feel the urge to shout it to the world, and then let it pass. Instead, let your silence speak volumes. Let your continued excellent work be your voice. In doing so, you'll find that your victories become not just personal triumphs, but stepping stones to a character of true strength and wisdom. I hope these insights on silence have sparked a change in you. If you found value here, hit that like button and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. But don't stop now. Your journey's just beginning. Click the video on your screen to dive deeper into Stoic practices that'll transform your life. Remember, true power often lies in what's left unsaid.